So what I really want to do is start banding together during this time and doing what I can do and what I know how to do to encourage you, because for part of it, for selfish reasons, is it makes me feel somewhat useful, because there is a lot of uncertainty for all of us going on right now about how it's affecting your business, and I know it's different for every single person, but focusing on what we can do and really being positive and working together as a community to support one another during this time is going to be critical for all of our sanity as well as for our businesses. So today, taking it back to the bare bones minimum and foundation of businesses, I really just wanted to start talking about branding. And it's something that I really, really love talking about, and it's something I think that is something that often we know is important, we believe it's important, we understand the importance of it, we know what a strong brand is, we think we know what our brand is, yet we don't really take the time to dive into it for ourselves and making it something that's really special and just for our own customers. So during this time when all of us do have a little bit more downtime, I want to do something daily this week that's really going to focus on branding. And today I wanted to speak specifically to really what is branding and how is it important to your business. And I am going to offer advice that I've been told, what I've read, what I have learned, and what's been really important for me in the successes of my different businesses to really be able to give you guys that advice that hopefully will help with your growth or rebranding or just relooking at what you need to do maybe differently for your company. So first and foremost, branding is more than just the name of your company. It's really what, in my opinion, your customers think of when they think of your brand. So, if you think of any of the top brands that you love, there's definitely a hierarchy of the brands. So, for example, if you love to shop at some well-known department stores, let's just say Nordstrom, that might be considered more of a luxury brand. So in your mind, when you go there, you might think, okay, I'm going to spend a little bit more for a sweater, or I'm going to know I'm going to pay a little bit more. But a lot of people love shopping there because of the service that they give, and there's a lot of other value adds. For example, they have a really good return policy. You can have your own personal shopper. There's different things that go along with that brand that really makes it important and distinctively different. So that's just one example. So even when you think of every single product that you touch on a daily basis, you may not have a certain connection to it, but there's a reason why you bought it. So the reason might be that it was literally the cheapest. Sorry guys, I'm like sitting on this folding chair because I'm out on a porch, so that's cool. It might be literally the price. So if price was a factor, then you didn't care what the brand was. You're like, I just need spaghetti sauce and I'm going to get the cheapest spaghetti sauce possible. And you just look at the ounces and how much, oh my gosh, how much it is per ounce, and you make your purchasing decision based on that. Others may have more brand loyalty because it reminds them of their childhood, or it's something that their mom used to make, or it's something that they know settles better on their stomach, and it has nothing to do really with the cost. So in branding, it's really, really important that you first and foremost, before you even think about how you're going to approach your customer and how you're going to be marketing to your customer and how you're going to be targeting your customer, is what is your brand? Is your brand what you're selling? Is your brand your service? Is your brand your mission? Like if you're in like a service business, maybe you really want your brand to be known for having the best on-time delivery. And let's say if you're an air conditioning company, and that in your industry or in your area or in your service that it's really common for people to have a window of a delivery of 6 hours, and people get frustrated because they can't plan their day around it. So let's say you want to hone in on having the best service, the best delivery time, and you really focus that, and that becomes part of your brand. So everything that you do from a decision-making standpoint needs to make sure that you align your branding with that. So starting out, first and foremost, is you really need to start scratching down, writing down, what is it that you do, what is it that you want to do, and what is it that you want to be known for. So I'm going to go ahead and use an example of my ranch because I think that's a very good one to use because it's a little bit different. It's even been a little bit of a struggle for me to figure out, my approach and branding with the ranch because it's not what I'm kind of been custom, used to, which is more, product based. Like with Three Bird Nests and a couple of the other companies, they're much more of a product based, and so it's easy for me to kind of wrap my head around. How are we going to approach our customers? Is it going to be service? Is it going to be price? Is it going to be a combination of all of these things that really helps drive our product? So first and foremost, and all of you guys can do this too with your company. It doesn't even matter how long you've been in business, but really start taking a look at your brand, what you portray your brand to be. And then it's really important, as we'll get into it later this week, is really evaluating how your customers or how people actually think about your brand, not necessarily how you want it to be, but the way it's actually being perceived in the market. So for my ranch is a huge project that my husband and I have undertaken. It's been almost 2 years. So we bought a property that was completely run down. It's a lot of acreage and it had an equestrian facility on it, but everything about the place just was magical to us. It was beautiful and it was peaceful and it was kind of serenity for us the first time we came to it, regardless of what it looked like. We saw the vision. We saw what we knew it could be. We saw, how we wanted to make this place really part of our community and how important it would be, how important we thought it would be for our community to be able to have a space like this to come to or to be part of or to connect with horses or whatnot. So the very, very beginning for us was the inception of what the brand was going to be. And for us, it was the ranch. And it might seem silly maybe to have a brand for the ranch, but for me, it's really important because I wanted to, from day one, every single thing that we did or project we did or, clients that we're going to have or people we're going to have come on the property, it has to make sense. And we really want them to be a part of our mindset. So that way, as we grow, that everyone here is really a community that we are going towards having the same goal. So even with your business, let's say that you are selling candles and you want to be perceived as an organic candle company. It would be really, really important, if that is part of your foundation, that every single thing that you do, from how you talk to your customers, to the photos that you use, to the ingredients that you use, to how you make them, to the language that you use to your customers, advertising, the packaging, how you ship them, all of that has to make sense and tie back into your brand. So if you're shipping, let's say if you're saying that you're an organic candle company, but you're shipping your candles with an excessive amount of packaging or bubble wrap or, in a much larger box that needs to be used, then it kind of is a juxtaposition with your candles, because if you're supposed to be organic, you really should be, doing all you can to minimize materials and maximize your ability to minimize your footprint from shipping to everything else. So these are just small little things that I want you guys to really start thinking about. So in addition to kind of just starting from the very, very beginning, is write down, if you already have an established name for your company, write that down. And for us, the ranch name we decided on is Willow and Wolf Ranch. So we started with Willow and Wolf Ranch. It has a meaning to us, and quite honestly, the meaning isn't the huge importance behind the brand. It just is a little bit of a tell that kind of stands for some beliefs that my husband and I both have together and what they stand for. So it'll be part of the story, but we're not focusing that like from an icon. We're not going to have like, a willow tree and then a wolf as our logo, because the importance of the brand to us is the sense of community and the level of commitment we're going to have to every single one of our customers or clients that are going to be here. And it's really going to be more about creating that space than it is focusing on the logo and the brand itself. So when we started kind of writing down some of our values, which is really after you have your name, really start thinking about what are the things that are really important to you individually, and that's my it's the crow, to you individually, and then really you as a company. And if you're an established company, it's actually a little bit easier to some degree to figure out what those values are, because most likely it's a very common core values individually and as a company that you're already doing. So let's say you have a company where a lot of you that work together really truly value each other. You value the sense of community you have. You treat one another with love and respect, and really give people, empower them to do their job. It's really becomes one of your core values. So every single thing you do should really fit in line with that. For example, for Three Bird Nest, one of the core values for Three Bird Nest from the very beginning for me when I was the founder was family. And it was because I had 3 kids who are, the 3 birds from the Three Bird Nest name, that they had to come to me with me into the warehouse because, as a mom and, still working at Three Bird Nest and having that full time, my husband was still working full time at that time as well. We had to have every single person that was going to be part of Three Bird Nest that was going to be in the office. I had to be able to trust that they would be and treat everyone with respect and be kind and be loving, because my kids were going to be around a lot. And so foundationally, when the brand grew, that was really how we became successful and worked together really, really tightly. Is everyone truly, truly cared about one another. They cared about the brand. They cared about our community and our customers. And that really, I think, starts to form the really, really strong foundation for your brand. And when you go back, if you've already been operating in business and you kind of are working backwards, you'll be able to see some things that are identifiable as part of what your core values are. So start with your business name, then you really work on to what your core values and beliefs are as a company. If you have a nonprofit, who are you serving? Really understanding who you're serving, and really identifying if your mission and the vision of your company and your values are in line with who you're serving and what you're doing. And if there's not, then there might be a reason why. If you're having any hiccups with your sales, or if you're having any hiccups with growing, or if you kind of feel like you've hit a plateau, there may be some misalignment there with regards to what you really perceive your brand as and what others perceive your brand as. And if your values are one thing, but you're acting another way, it's going to be confusion. And that confusion is really what disrupts a brand. And the confusion can be so many different things. It can be the name of the company. It can be your pricing structure. It can be how you communicate with your customers. It can be your policies. If those aren't in line with your values, with your brand, with what you're trying to do, with what your mission is, there's definitely going to be a clash. And you'll find yourself at that clash, no matter how much you think you're trying to move beyond that you're really going to be stuck. And it's interesting because you may not even realize that that's what's happening. But for example, at Three Bird Nest, when we first started, we had absolutely no refund policy because we were small, and quite honestly, refunds have a negative impact on a business from a financial standpoint. But we also wanted to offer our customers the best experience that we could. And so when you think about it, those two things are a little bit off, because we don't want to prohibit a customer from buying from us because they're not going to be able to return it. And then if we're saying that we're taking care of our customer and we truly want to give them the best experience, those two things really are misaligned. And when you revisit all of your policies, when you revisit all of your language on your website, how you're treating your customers, how you're trying to acquire your customers, if there's a complete misalignment, it will definitely impact your growth and your sales, which you'll find once you go back and kind of do the exercise, hopefully today, because tomorrow we'll have more things to work on, of the misalignment with these two and how you can make that be really important. So going back to my original kind of example was for the ranch, our goals really here are a premier experience for horses and anybody who is visiting the ranch, whether it's a trainer or a rider or somebody who's looking to buy a horse, or we're looking at developing some type of a community farm to table program here with horses and oh my gosh, horses is an awful example. With the cows is what I meant, and having some sheep and other types of organic meat that we can raise, as well as like hens and eggs, and really creating a farm-like atmosphere so people can come and visit the farm pets, as well as be part of the experience of being able to have organic, grass-fed meat if you eat meat, and being able to be part of that actual experience. So in order to have that, we had to make sure everything we did, from a rebuilding to, choosing colors to looking at the flow of the property, that those two went hand in hand. So everything that we've done has been with the thought in mind of, does this deliver an inviting, warm, kind of premier experience? Is this like is this the type of service they would get nowhere else? And we always want our answer to be yes, because we want to be going above and beyond that. So for example, we have an indoor riding ring, and inside the riding ring is we have a lounge. And so the lounge has always been there, and we wanted it to is being used as an overused tack room for storage. So when we cleaned it out and kind of repainted it and put some new furniture in there, we created a space where you can now watch people who are riding on the indoor arena while you're inside without any disruption. So if it's a new rider, or if it's people who really haven't been around horses a lot and might be a little bit too loud for them, we want to eliminate any disruption to their experience at the property, regardless of who's there. So having just that lounge and being thoughtful of the use of the property really is what is one of the things that is really important to continue to be thoughtful. So think about that in everything that you're doing with your business, from how you're acquiring your customers, to your proposals to your customers, to how you're responding to them, to, are you communicating with them the same on social media as you are in email? Are you truly taking care of your customer if that's one of your core values? And if not, revisit it. Look at how you would be able to improve that and put that implement that into use, this week or next week, because all of us have the time now to be able to do that. So really revisit your policies, revisit your mission, your vision and values, see where you can improve it, see where you might be having a misalignment of your values and how you're marketing to your customers and how your customers may be perceiving you. And chances are your customers are probably telling you, whether it's complaints via email, whether it's comments on social media, or whether it's just, quite honestly, no sales or a total dip in sales, albeit everything going on right now aside. There's something you can do to change that. And I'm hoping that during this week, every day, I can help you kind of just open your eyes to a little bit more of a what you can actually do, action items this week and next week, and while we're all kind of be home, that if this is hopefully going to be helpful to you to help improve your business. So thanks for listening, and I will continue to talk over the next week about different aspects of branding. So today I really want to just talk about basic foundations and making sure that you can evaluate, your name, your mission, your vision, and your values for your company, how your policies fall in line with that. And one other thing I didn't touch on was tagline, as I think a lot of people, when they come up with a logo or they come up with their branding package, is they really feel like they have to have this tagline, this one, important tagline. And I think it's great if it naturally comes to you, but it's not necessarily a necessity that you have to have. As long as there's consistency in your wording and your language, and what your values are and your mission is, use your brand name, like your business name. For us, it's Willow and Wolf Ranch. So we are continually using that in everything that we do, and really trying to instill this sense of community and the importance of community for us within everything we do and touch. So today and before tomorrow, what I would love to see you guys do is, write down your what you think your values are for your company. Write down if you think that you're truly being real to those from everything that you do to operate your company, whether it's like I said, your policies to pricing to whatever that is. Really look at that and see if there's any misalignment, and then work on seeing what you could do to realign that. And the other things this week that I want to go over is photography, which I touched on a little bit last week, but really getting a little bit more in depth on that. I want to talk about social media presence and the importance of that to branding. I want to talk about website design, colors, and all the things that really go into the basic marketing of your company and your brand, and really honing in on the branding aspect of it to make sure that everything that you're trying to do really makes sense. So I really hope that this has been helpful to you guys, and I'm actually hoping you guys can hear because it's a little bit windy out here. But comment for me, please, other things you'd like to see this week. Let me know how you guys are all doing during this time, if it's affecting your business positively. I'm hoping for some of you negatively. That's fine. We'll get through this together. And another thing that I would love to start doing is highlighting really one other business per day, because I think it's really going to be important for all of us to come together as a community. It's going to be important for all of us to support one another and to start, talking about other companies. And again, like, even if it's a competitor, there's enough people in this world that for sales to go around. So I think the important thing is during this time is we all have to kind of come together and do what we can to help improve everyone else's business as well, because in the end, that's what you're going to be left with is each other. And it's really more important that we focus on truly helping one another, which is kind of my goal and reasoning for being able to start kind of this series more in depth than my kind of 1-minute talks I've been trying to do once a week. But I hope this is helpful to all of you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.